20 bucks. 20 bucks. They're on the line for 20 bucks. Hi guys, it's Jabor, Montreal. I hope everything's well and you're safe. So I'm Maggie, Mrs. Calabash. Come into my kitchen. Today I'm looking at lighter meals, and so this is one of my favourite. It's hard-boiled eggs in a spicy cream sauce, and today I'm going to cook it with savoury beans with coconut. Now this again is an adaptable dish. The hard-boiled eggs in spicy sauce can be served hot or cold. It can be served as a light lunch, with a salad, or as an evening meal over rice with a vegetable, and also, you know, packed lunches out on the patio. It's adaptable for that as well. So before we start, we have to hard boil the eggs. Now you see the eggs are beautifully yellow. There's no dark colouring around. And the dark colouring is normally a sign that the eggs have been overcooked. I find the easiest way for me to cook eggs, if I remember to bring them out of the fridge to get them up to room temperature, put them in cold water, and if you've got the eggs straight out of the fridge, I add a little vinegar, and that stops cracking. And should anything crack, it stops the egg white escaping. Bring them up to the boil. Boil gently for 10 minutes, put the timer on, switch them off straight under cold water. You want to stop them cooking, and that's what the cold water does, and then just peel. If the eggs are very new, you will have a hard job taking the shells off. And I used to pickle eggs commercially, and like that one, it had got a little nick in it, and I went to see a friend who, she used to produce quail eggs, tiny little quail eggs, and I said, how do you get them so smooth? Because you can't sell them with a nick in. And she said, what I do is I boil the eggs the night before and cover them with vinegar, and then just go to bed. And in the morning, all the shell is wrinkled and rubbery, and you just do that and it comes off. No nicks, no nothing. So that is just a tip to get the shells off, because sometimes, especially if the eggs are fresh, it's quite the job. So let's go back to the stove. I'm going to take the eggs with me. So come on, back over here. Now, what do we cook first? Ha ha! It's all going to be cooked together. So I do have, this is for the eggs, and I do have the oil just heating a little, because I want to put the onions in to start cooking, because I like them, if I've got time and the onions are forgiving, just to go to a little bit brown around the edge. So we're going to keep our eye on this. And this is some melted butter in here. Again, it's on low. Let's just turn it up. And this is for the savoury green beans with coconut. Let's have a look. What do I need? I've got a whole list of things here. Green beans, rather nice fresh green beans. This time you can use frozen at a push, but the fresh ones are nicer. The fresh ones are nicer, and depending how big the beans are, these were quite small beans, so I just took off the edge and snipped in the centre. I'm just feeling that. Onion. we just want the onion to start to cook. There we are, like that. So we just want the onion to cook, and I'm going to just let it cook for a minute or two. That looks as though that is getting ready. And this is for the eggs, and that's some chopped onion, and I want to put that in there just to start to cook. There we are. We'll keep an eye on those. So the onions, I want to cook the onions just so they go translucent. And that brings out the sweetness. Keep an eye on those onions over there. Let's keep just stirring these. I like to use a sweet onion for this. I don't like, I personally wouldn't put a red onion with either of these dishes, especially with the egg dish, because you don't want the red. You can get away with the green bean if you've only got red onions in. Well, of course, use red onions. Don't go out and buy something special. Now, here we've got ground coriander, turmeric and ginger. I'm going to put those in there like that because we want these to cook out with the onion. So if you don't cook the spice out, it tastes raw. It brings out the aromatic flavour if it's just cooked like this. This is very, very quick and easy to do. So let's just stir that round for a minute. Now the coconut. Let's see if I can, I'm going to just turn that down a minute. I don't want it to overcook. Can you see, Derek, can you see the coconut? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, you'll see some long strands in there. Obviously, this is an Indian dish, and they will use fresh coconut. Now, we've bought fresh coconut, and I've stopped buying it because it was underripe, and then one which sounded perfectly with a nice lot of milk in it and everything, and it was mouldy when we opened it up. So I've stopped buying coconut, and this is actually frozen shredded coconut. And so I just defrosted the coconut, and with the water just put it through the processor, the food processor, a small food processor, until it's all cut together. So now I'm going to add the beans, and we want to make sure that the beans are well coated with the mixture. Just put it over like that, and then we're going to add the coconut and a little seasoning. And that is all there is to doing to the green beans and coconut. And you've got all the goodness and all the flavours. And I've got here just a little bit, I'm going to put in just a little of the Mrs. Calabash seasoning. So that's, remember, 3 salt to 1 pepper. Just a little like that. And we can give that a taste. I'm going to cover that over and just let the beans cook in the juice. Now today I've used chicken stock, but if you want to keep this completely vegetarian, then of course use vegetable stock. and it adds. Now then, where's the spoon? Would you believe it? I've got all this in here and no spoons. There's a small spoon. I want to try the juice because that's where the flavour is. And there we are. Yes. By the time that's cooked, and I'm going to move that over there and do musical pans on the stove top. So let's just turn that up a bit. Turn that up and we'll put that on one side. Let's get organised. I'm going to put a top on that because I don't want the juice to evaporate. I just want to cook it in its own juice. So you see, the onions are cooking. And they're just turning brown, just how I like them. Let's get rid of that plate. We don't need that anymore. And I'd be horrified to break that because that was my grand's plate. So it is quite old. She'd be delighted to see it being used. Now, I've got everything on order up here. The herbs and the spices, cream, lemon juice. No, I didn't. I take it back. I realise what I've said. I use stock in that. I didn't. I use water. I'm getting confused. It's stock in here because this is my stock. And a little tomato paste. So they're nicely cooked. And I've got chilli and grated ginger root. I like, I've got red chilli because I hadn't got a green chilli in. I'd only got red chillies, fresh red chillies, and I'm not going out to buy a whole bunch of chillies just for one little chilli. You can put 2 chillies in depending on your spice tolerance. There we are. And remember, I've grated the chilli, so because then there's more flavour comes out. The smaller you get, the smaller particles, more flavour. So I grated the chilli. And here I've got Mrs. Calabash garam masala. I'll put the recipe up for you. Cayenne and cumin seeds. And now we just need to cook those out for a few minutes. Now you can tell when the spices are ready because it becomes quite aromatic. It's getting there. Oh, lovely. Don't rush this stage because this is where you get all the flavour. I know it's tempting to say, yeah, it's done. Let's get on with it. Cream. I'm using a 35% cream so that it won't separate in cooking. You can use a smaller percentage, an 18%, but there is a tendency it could separate. It doesn't always. And if you're lucky enough, as I said before, if you're lucky enough to live in Quebec, there's a cooking cream. There's a 5% cooking cream and it's processed and it works just the same way as a 35%, but with the less fat. But we don't have it here, unfortunately, in Ontario. So the cream, lemon juice, bring that up. turn that down a little bit. There we are. Now this sauce will thicken because the cream is what's called a liaison, which is a thickener. My stock. So, guess what? I lit the paper. Has been known before. There we are. Now you notice between each edition, I'm bringing the liquid up to temperature again. We don't want it to get down too low. And tomato paste. It's only a small amount of tomato paste, but it makes all the difference. Now, with tomato paste, I always buy it in the tube, and then I don't waste the tomato paste. Because I use a lot of tomato paste, but I don't use enough to open a small can, or very rare do I have enough to open a small can. So I just keep a tube in, keep it in the fridge, and it's always there when I need it. So we're going to have to taste this. We're going to put a little seasoning in. We need to bring that up to the simmer. I'm putting cayenne pepper in. That won't do, will it? It won't hurt it. There we are. Let's just rinse that spoon out. Give that a good stir. Ooh. You could even serve this with mashed potatoes. That's got a really nice flavour to it. It's not hot and spicy. It's got a slight kick to it, but nothing with having the ginger, but nothing, it's not outstanding. It just adds the flavour. Because remember, the eggs are a bit bland, so we have to give them a bit of a help. So let's place the eggs over here, and we need to put the cut side up like that. And we're going to spoon this mixture over the eggs, and it'll take about, I'm going to turn that down a little bit, it'll take about 5 minutes for the eggs to warm through. And Derek's his digestive juices are already going, aren't they, love?
They are.
Yeah.
Eggs.
Eggs and more eggs.
Give me more eggs.
So let's just spoon the mixture over the eggs. Let's not be stupid and get something a little bit better to spoon the liquid over with. There we are, that's better. And I want to cook these. Because we want the flavour to go into the eggs. And we want the sauce to thicken just a little bit. We'll taste the beans, see what they're doing. I'll have to get some more spoons out. Let's have a look at these beans. Oh, that looks good. Can you see, Derek?
Put it over the other pan. Hold it over the other pan.
He doesn't realise these handles get hot. You know. This one doesn't, and it's the only one. It was the cheapest pan I've got, and the handles stay nice and cool. These more expensive ones, I don't know, but the handles get hot. Can you see that now?
Yes.
Good.
That's all I was doing? We hardly get to see it.
Well, I'm going to have a taste, and then we'll have another look.
Yeah,
I want to, quite honestly, I want to see if the beans are cooked, because we don't want them overcooked. I want to see what the sauce tastes like. And let's see what the beans. I think the beans could actually do with cooking for a few more minutes. They're a little bit tough, and they shouldn't be because they're young beans. But I've had them in the fridge. I've had them sitting in the fridge. It's not like when you go out into the garden, the beans aren't ready. So normally what I do if I'm cooking beans, I just go out, collect however many beans I want, come back, and they're fresh and they cooked just like that. So these have sat in the fridge for a little while, and I don't know how fresh they were when I bought them. They look nice and fresh. They were crispy. I cut, broke one in half and it went nice and crisp, but obviously they're a little bit older than I would normally have, but that's all we've got at the moment. So let's have a look at this. You can see how the sauce is thickening. Now we've got to be careful that the eggs don't start to disintegrate on us. As I say, today I haven't cooked any rice because I'm just going to leave that to your imagination. But put this over a bed of rice and all the juice runs through the rice. You see, I'm not doing rice because Derek doesn't like rice. So I will choose something. You can serve this over couscous as well. I'm going to turn those off. Serve them over couscous, which I love couscous in the summer because it's easy. Don't forget, it's the instant couscous that we use here, where you just put the water up to the boil, put the couscous in, turn everything off. I add a knob of butter and some seasoning, cover, leave for 5 minutes, fluff it with a fork, and that's the couscous ready. But that is the instant couscous. It's not the pearl couscous. Now, when living in France, they have couscous restaurants, and they're gorgeous. And you have couscous parties, but you have a savoury, like a savoury stew at the bottom with sausage, and it's all sorts of bits and pieces. Sausage, meat, a little shrimp, and you're cooking that on the bottom, so it's cooking and it's steaming. So you have like a steamer, you have a special couscous pan, and then you put the pearl couscous on the top and it steams, and then you serve it all in this beautiful stew. And so the couscous restaurants are gorgeous. They really are. And they're they used to be, very reasonably priced. So let's go back. I need my pan stand. The beans are cooked. Now, what do we serve the beans in? Let's serve it in here. But you could serve this over noodles.
Yes.
Yes! Oh gosh. We were watching a programme on Italy. I think Derek ought to go and live in Italy. And then he could eat the pasta and the noodles to his heart's content. Now, as anybody that knows me knows that I'm not such a big noodle fan. Anyway, there's the beans. And let's go and get the eggs. Boom, boom. Beans to one side. I've got just my little Royal Worcester. What can I lift the eggs up with? To be careful. Let's put that to one side. So carefully put the eggs in the serving dish or over a nice bed of rice or bulgur or couscous, whatever you or noodles. Oh God. The noodle king. I've got you wouldn't believe it, I've got a cupboard full of different noodles. So we eat different, I cook different noodles for each different dish. To me, I like this over the cellophane noodles. There we are. Like that. Get rid of that. And because this isn't hot, let's cover it like that. I can't tip it up too much.
No, that's okay.
The juice is going to come out. Yeah. I hadn't got any fresh parsley today, but just a little dried parsley on there, like that. And you could use parsley or cilantro over this. It would, either or would be fine. And I need, what have I got? I'm going to put just a little paprika pepper. Paprika just adds colour, not spice. So we'll go out with the boar. And thank you very much for watching. Please go to Mrs. Calabash Cooks on Facebook. The recipes will be up there. And like and share. And don't forget, ask me any questions.